RHOP, Karen Huger denied early release after DUI sentence. Fans of The Real Housewives of Potomac were shocked when original cast member Karen Huger was arrested on charges of driving under the influence in 2024. Her recent attempt to get out of prison early was denied by the judge. Keep reading to find out more about the reality star's legal issues. RHOP star Karen Huger sentenced for DUI. Karen Huger has been a staple on The Real Housewives of Potomac since the show debuted on Bravo in 2016. Viewers may have seen the last of her on Season 9, which wrapped up in March. She was unable to attend the Season 9 reunion in person because she was in rehab. The reality star was arrested for driving under the influence in March 2024. Body cam footage from the officers showed Karen Huger slurring her words and visibly intoxicated. She turned down a plea deal and took her chances at trial. Unfortunately, the ruling wasn't in her favor. She was found guilty on multiple charges, including driving under the influence, DUI, and negligent driving. Karen Huger was sentenced to 2 years in prison with 1 of the years suspended, meaning she would only serve 1 year. She also received 5 years probation. Judge denied early release request. Karen Huger began her prison stint on February 27, 2025. According to the Washington Post, the reality star recently applied for work release. If approved, it would mean transferring to a less strict facility focused on rehabilitation. While she had approval from correctional officials, the judge on her case denied the request. Now Karen Huger must finish her sentence at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility in Maryland. Before her stint in prison, Karen Huger had a cameo on the CBS soap Beyond the Gates. She's expected to get out of prison in October or November 2025. Will she return to RHOP after she's out of prison? Bravo host and executive Andy Cohen had a lot to say about the RHOP star's imprisonment. However, he stopped short of revealing if the door was open for Karen Huger to return to the show after she's out of prison. Another Real Housewives star getting out of prison soon. Karen Huger isn't the first Bravo star with a criminal record. RHOP's Teresa Giudice famously served time in prison for tax fraud. The Real Housewives of Orange County star Shannon Beater was arrested on DUI charges in September 2023. She was sentenced to 3 years probation and 40 hours of community service, but not jail time. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City fans got a front-row seat to Jen Shah's legal troubles. Homeland Security officers approached a van carrying some of the women on the show to a group cast trip. However, Jen Shah had a last-minute emergency and wasn't there at the time. However, she was later arrested on charges of wire fraud. Jen Shah initially proclaimed her innocence, but pled guilty right before the case was expected to go to trial in July 2022. She took a plea deal and was sentenced to over 6 years in prison. The reality star made a fast friend in Elizabeth Holmes in prison. Jen Shah's sentence has been reduced several times since then. She was originally set to be released in 2029, but now she'll be home as early as next year. Her new release date is October 4, 2026, which is also her birthday. She'll turn 52 next year. In a twist that even Potomac's most seasoned champagne sippers didn't see coming, the grandeurs of reality TV were momentarily muted this week as the Real Housewives of Potomac's reigning queen bee, Karen Huger, found her bid for early release from her DUI sentence unceremoniously denied. The gavel came down, not with glitter, but with grit. The self-proclaimed grande dame of Potomac, never one to retreat from a challenge or camera lens, has been navigating a very different kind of spotlight lately, one cast not by Bravo's high-definition cameras, but by the stark fluorescence of the criminal justice system. Once floating down Georgetown streets in luxury cars, clad in flowing silks and pearls that whisper old money, Karen now finds herself navigating mandated sobriety programs and community service assignments with all the pomp of a woman unwilling to be diminished. Back in March, Huger was charged with driving under the influence after a late-night incident that saw her Mercedes-Benz, which reportedly collided with a median before veering across lanes, capture the attention of authorities. and fans alike. While no one was injured, the metaphorical damage to Karen's pristine image was palpable. Ever the polished performer, Karen initially downplayed the event, claiming it as a personal lapse in judgment, and vowed to use the experience as a stepping stone toward greater awareness and accountability. But awareness only gets you so far when the courts come calling. This week, in a courtroom devoid of Bravo's production crew, but brimming with legal reality, Huger's attorney submitted a formal request for early release from the mandated terms of her sentence, which includes a 30-day rehabilitation program, a restricted license, and over 100 hours of community service. They argued that the star has been a model participant and is undergoing personal reform with humility and grace. The judge, however, remained unmoved. According to sources present, the bench was firm yet respectful, stating that celebrity status does not absolve an individual from the consequences of their actions. A succinct gavel tap later, and the Grande Dame's request was denied. Bravo producers may be licking their chops at the ready-made Season 9 storyline, but for Karen, this isn't simply reality TV. This is real life. Her fans, dubbed Hugerites across the fan pages of Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, have taken divided stances. Some rally behind her, praising her transparency in the aftermath. Others, though, question the sincerity of her contrition, pointing out what they see as attempts to curate the narrative for cameras. Indeed, cameras have followed Karen through worse, from heated showdowns with Giselle Bryant to tearful reconciliations with husband Ray Huger, the Black Bill Gates himself. The Grande Dame is no stranger to reinvention. But a DUI is not a wine-tossing dispute or a wig-shifting confrontation. It's a legal liability that courts take seriously, and perhaps this moment marks the end of Karen's long streak of slipping through drama with diamond-lined diplomacy. Still, if there's one thing Karen Huger has always done, it's maintain elegance, even in adversity. In an Instagram post hours after the hearing, she shared a picture of a single white rose, captioned, "Growth often requires pause. I accept the journey." Though the comment section erupted into a swirl of supportive emojis and skeptics accusing her of performative penance, Karen remained silent. The Housewives franchise thrives on scandal, redemption, and personal reinvention, and Karen has always played the long game. Whether it was quietly launching her own fragrance line while others bickered, or walking into reunions dressed like royalty while evading every third question, Huger has mastered the art of deflection and dramatics. Yet this particular chapter forces a confrontation that even she can't control from her confessionals. Legal experts observing the case noted that while first-time DUI offenders with no injuries often receive leniency, early release is rare unless there are extraordinary circumstances, such as medical emergencies, family obligations, or demonstrable impact on community rehabilitation efforts. Huger's team attempted to argue that her continued presence in the public eye serves as a deterrent and educational tool, but prosecutors pointed out that celebrity influence cannot supplant judicial process. It's an argument that resonates beyond Potomac's borders. For years, fans have watched reality stars dodge the consequences that real people face daily. But there's a slow cultural shift underway, one demanding not just visibility, but accountability. Even a Grande Dame, it seems, must sit through the storm she's driven into.